YouTube has declared war on controversial content and content creators. So now some of you on YouTube might have noticed maybe less ads being played before content. And some of you who might be creators who also watch this, like I am, have noticed that our ad revenue has tended to fall off a cliff over the last week. Now, the reason is, according to The Verge, companies have pulled out advertising from YouTube over what they say is Google's inability to ensure ads won't appear next to hateful and offensive content. Now, the Wall Street Journal reports that the YouTube videos centered around racist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic views had still been scooping up ads from brands like Coca-Cola, Amazon, and Microsoft. This is even after reports last week exposed the issue and led to mass advertising boycotts in the UK and now the United States, prompting Google to promise companies it would solve the issue and implement better tools and moderation practices. Following the Wall Street Journal findings, PepsiCo, Wal-Mart, Dish, Starbucks, and GM all pulled their advertising, joining a growing list of dozens of companies in Europe and in the United States since the time of London first shined a spotlight on the problem. So, now, I looked into the Times of London report. Now, their example, their investigation highlighted a racist YouTube channel with less than 1,000 subscribers. So, you have to understand, this is what they're basing this on. They found one YouTube channel which was racist, which was hateful, said a whole, bunch of terrible, horrible things about, black people, Jews, all that stuff. And look, there are channels like that exist, but it had 1,000 subscribers. Literally minuscule. See, this is what the advertisers say that they're freaking out about. That's literally nothing. I gained 4,000 subscribers last month alone. What I gained last month was 4 times that channel size. How many ads are getting played on those hateful videos? Not very many. So the chance that these advertisers will see one of their ads pop up on one of these super hateful channels, very, very minuscule. Not many people are going to see it. Not many people are going to watch it. Now, I understand that these companies don't want to be linked with hateful content. I get it. I understand that. But literally, again, almost no one is seeing these ads because almost no one watches those shitty channels. Nobody watches those horrible, hateful, racist channels. They're very, very small. But again, they're saying, things like, PewDiePie and etc. Look, again, they took him out of context. I don't think he's actually a racist, hateful person. I don't know him personally. But as far as I can tell, he made a few bad jokes. Sad day. And of course, Disney pulled out. A lot of advertisers pulled their ads. And now they're using that as an example as well, along with this, to be like, oh no, we're going to pull these ads. We got to get rid of it. We have to sanitize YouTube to make sure that it is advertiser brand friendly. Not good. See, because the channels that are being hit by this are channels like mine. Are channels everywhere, to be honest, but especially things that talk about controversial topics. Well, on this channel, we talk about controversial topics. We talk about things like terrorism. We talk about things like sexual harassment. We talk about things like war, drone strikes, Syria, the Syrian civil war, ISIS, etc. Those are controversial topics. Those are things that brands don't want to be associated with. Marijuana, for example, drugs, drug policy, police brutality. They don't want their ads on any one of those things at all. So, again, any channel that covers any of those things, all the news and politics, all the opinion stuff, wiped out by this. They're going to be affected. In fact, my revenue has dropped by 70%. Small to mid-sized channels without huge crowdfunding abilities, we're getting devastated by this. We are getting absolutely crushed. And it's not just me, it's everyone who's a channel this size that depends on this ad revenue. Now, I mentioned Kyle before, right? Secular Talk. So he and we talked about this on Saturday, right? He literally had to talk me down from the ledge because I was kind of freaking out about it because, and again, ads are mostly my sole source of revenue. So I was a bit, in panic mode, in freak out mode. Thankfully to Kyle, again, he helped me kind of see past that and help me with strategies in order to get past some of this stuff as much as we're able to. But the real point that he made that I want to focus on, when he covered it, is that he thinks that this is an attempt at old media, or by old media, to destroy independent media. And look, that might be, I think that might be a pretty plausible explanation to this entire thing. I mean, look, think back and think what makes YouTube great, right? On YouTube, you can have different viewpoints. You can say what's on your mind. You can have different opinions. You don't have to worry about corporate sponsors, right? Telling you exactly what to say. It's not like TV. And you could get monetized before for having a different view that is not considered the mainstream. That's what's great about YouTube, the different voices. And the thing is, you know, as long as you're not stealing content, you could run ads on your channel. But now, because of these advertisers and because of YouTube, because of Google, we're not going to be able to do that anymore. Not without losing much needed ad revenue. So let me tell you, these advertisers, they are incredibly conservative. And I believe what they want is for the internet to be like television, because they are losing to television. Or I'm sorry, because they are losing to YouTube. They want to restrict our content so they can bring eyes back to television. And so what they're doing is that, well, brand safe. Now, brand safe, what that means on YouTube is, again, nothing about war, nothing about ISIS. For example, I've already had videos demonetized where I talked about terrorist attacks, where you talk about ISIS. Now, the way the advertisers and the way that Google sees it right now is that if you do a video that is anti-ISIS, that is anti-terrorist, that is the same as being pro-terrorist in their eyes. We don't want ads on that. We don't want ads anywhere near that. Get it off, get it up. Demonetize it. I've had a bunch of my videos demonetized already where I talk about that stuff. Now, that's fine. I'm like, okay, look, these are important issues. I'll still talk about it, but I know I'm going to take a haircut for that. I get it, but it's still important. You still gotta talk about it, right? Now they're expanding that. They're expanding it to, again, marijuana, drug legislation. If you make a video that's pro-pot, right, on the medical benefits of marijuana, they can go back and say, well, that is pro-illegal drugs. You are pro-heroin because you're doing drug policy, because you're okay with that. Because you're doing a pro-marijuana video. Or you want to legalize it. We don't like that. We don't want, like, our pharmaceutical companies that we do business with, they don't want their ads on that. That's what's going on here. So essentially, they want us to be like TV, or we don't get paid. But see, the whole reason YouTube is so big is that it's not like TV, and you can see what you want and still make a living on it. And that's the problem here. People want to hear these stories because mainstream corporate media is not doing these stories. Okay? Cable TV, look, it's about competition. It's about shutting down competition. Cable television right now is dying. Now, YouTube has billions of views thanks to content creators and thanks to viewers. The people that actually want to see stuff that's not on television. Now, again, you take away the revenue because they're not brand safe, you're going to see YouTube become just like dying cable television. And that is not good for YouTube. That is not good for content creators. That's not good for information. So, again, do I think that this is old media colluding with advertisers to destroy independent media? Actually, I think that's a definite possibility. And to illustrate that, look at what they're trying to do to fix this issue, which, as I pointed out, is not an actual big issue. Quote, we've begun an extensive review of our advertising policies and have made a public commitment to put in place changes that give brands more control over where their ads appear. Google said in a statement given to The Verge on Wednesday, we're also raising the bar for our ads policies to further safeguard our advertisers' brands. The company also has promised new tools like artificial intelligence-powered filtering that would detect offensive language and other contents within the video and flag it. So AI that targets swearing, already half of my content is demonetized if that goes through. I swore a couple of times in this last couple of videos. Done. You know, sometimes if you guys watch, I like to drop an F-bomb now or then, especially when I'm passionate about a subject. And look, you swear it all in your videos. If they actually implement something like this, no money. They want to turn us into Wolf Blitzer. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Look, this is a disaster, and I don't have to explain how much of a disaster this is for the YouTube community. I mean, this is bad. This is bad. For people who don't have alternate revenue streams, who most of their income comes from doing these videos, it's an absolute crushing disaster. If I knew this was going to happen, I'd have thought maybe about, you know, about not making this my main career. As much as I love doing this and doing the show, love don't pay the rent. And now it's gotten a lot harder. So, look, I'm really concerned for the future. Not just for me, but of course the chilling effect that it's going to have on our fellow creators here on YouTube. This is a censorship issue, in a way. So, but for me, the only thing that I can say is, like, if you support what I do, Patreon, Patreon, Patreon. I know it sounds cheesy going through all this, but making a pitch. But honestly, I can't stress it enough. If you still want me to continue to do this type of content and they make these changes, then that's going to that's going to be the only way to be able to afford to do so. If the advertisers have their way or they continue to boycott or walk away, Patreon or any sort of outside funding, that is going to be the only way that this channel is going to survive. So I wouldn't come to you if it wasn't important. Patreon. Scary times indeed, man. The whole thing. Scary, scary times. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.